Welcome back. We are tracking some breaking news in the Caribbean where Hurricane Melissa is creeping closer to making landfall in Jamaica. Melissa has been a Category 5 storm now for more than 24 hours and is expected to be the strongest storm ever to hit Jamaica. And it is just crawling, moving at about 7 miles per hour. And it's that slow pace that's especially concerning, raising fears about widespread flooding. Officials have ordered tens of thousands of people to evacuate their homes. Hundreds of shelters have been set up, and crews have been working to clear drains and fortify the electrical grid before impact. But meteorologists have warned of urgent humanitarian crisis to come. Here is Jamaica's Prime Minister.
You have been warned. So it's now up to you to use that information to make the right decisions. I have been on my knees in prayer. And I know that there are Jamaicans here praying for us, Jamaicans overseas praying for us, but more than that, it would appear that the entire world is praying for Jamaica.
Christina Mesquita of the Associated Press is joining us from Havana. Cuba is also in the storm's path. Christina, first things first, we know Jamaica was preparing for major power and communication outages. Do we have any sense of how bad things are yet?
Well, it does look like Jamaica is preparing for the worst-case scenario. Already some 50,000 people have had no power. And as the Prime Minister said himself, there's no infrastructure on Earth built to withstand that kind of force. So I guess in the next few days, with winds of 180 miles per hour, things are going to get a lot worse in terms of power and communications.
Christiana, the storm is tracking right now to move over Cuba tomorrow morning. Blue skies there now, but what are people there bracing for?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, looking at the blue skies here in Havana, that it could get so bad. But people are preparing in the eastern part of the country. Already 600,000 people have been evacuated. Evacuation is mandatory in Cuba. There's no discussion. You are told to go, you go. But there are concerns with floods, rivers overflowing. The rivers are already above normal levels. Crops will be affected, which is always a problem in a country like Cuba. But they have been preparing for the last couple of days, or even longer than that, with military on the streets, with their inflatable boats, with diving gear. They are everywhere. Tourists are being evacuated from hotels like in Santiago de Cuba, which is the country's second largest city. So they are as prepared as they can be. Again, as you mentioned, you know, the slow-moving hurricane is a big threat when it comes to landslides, floods, and, you know, all the loss of property.
Yeah.
Cuba traditionally has been able to avoid any loss of life because of their mandatory evacuation, but the loss of property is probably going to be very significant.
Christiana Mesquita, we appreciate your reporting. We hope you and everybody there stays safe. Thank you. And now MSNBC's Moses Small is here with us, tracking the storm's path. Moses, what is Melissa looking like right now?
Well, right now, it's looking like it could be not only the strongest storm ever to hit Jamaica directly, but now it's one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes on record ever. Because you can see what the eye is doing now. It's making its way towards the island. It's really closing in, with landfall expected by about 1 p.m. our time. But at the same time, those winds in the eye wall have now reached up to 185 miles per hour. That's close to record speed. And so it's not just a powerful storm, it's also an unusually slow storm. So when we check out the path of this thing, it may make landfall at about 1 p.m., but because it's moving so slow, it's just going to crawl its way across the island over the course of the entire day, and then landfall in Cuba tomorrow, still remaining a major hurricane at a Category 4. And we've talked about the slow speeds. It's moving 7 miles per hour. That's the fastest I've actually seen this storm going for the entire time. That means the risk of flooding is going to be huge for the entire island of Jamaica. And it's never really a good sign when you see people measuring the rainfall easily in feet. instead of inches, looking at up to 2, 3, even 4 feet of rainfall expected for some places. Similar impacts also expected for parts of Haiti and for parts of Cuba. And fortunately, the wind threat is just slightly more confined. But still, when you're talking wind gusts of up to 180 miles per hour, sustained winds of 185 miles per hour, you're not only talking about ripping the roof off the home or the walls off the house, you're talking about taking the entire house down, doing the same thing to the entire neighborhood. The wind threat really huge, especially for those places right on the shore. Now, one other thing that the wind can do, aside from the power outages, aside from the obvious risk to property, it can also create lots of storm surge. So the strong winds can push lots of water onto the shore. And I don't know if you can see here in orange for lots of Jamaica, looking at up to 15 feet of storm surge. So just imagine those high tides coming in being a whole 15 feet taller than usual. That essentially is enough to turn streets into rivers, and that is at the heart of what makes this storm so dangerous. So the next 24 hours going to be absolutely critical, not only for Jamaica, but for the entire Caribbean.
Yeah, that storm surge coupled with the feet of rain potentially that could fall as part of this storm. Critical situation, catastrophic situation as we see Melissa expected to make landfall in just a few hours. Moses Small, thank you.